Thursday afternoon in Westview, and I gotta still make my money, so I'm over at my vendor shop, Josh from Liquid Wholesalers, about to load up for the weekend. Cause you know when I come down to Liquid Wholesalers, he's got all the e-juice, he's got all the ganja, he's got all them disposables, everything you need. But I'll tell you right now, it's 2022. It's the year of the fake hustler. Everybody's doing Dogecoin, Bitcoin, all these cryptos. But real hustlers still stay. Ain't that right, Josh?
Always hustling.
So from Josh's shop down to my beautiful shop right here in Westview, we only talk about hustling. And when it comes to hustling, there's one name that I know, and that is Manny G. In fact, my man Gavin even knows something about Manny G. Gavin, what do you know about Manny G?
I know that Manny G uses pepper spray to season his tacos.
Oh my gosh, I also know that Manny G knows Victoria's Secret. But y'all ain't here to hear us tell these jokes. Y'all are here for one reason and one reason only. And that's season 3, episode 9 of the Chino Brothers. Come on, Manny G, tell us about hustling. That's an intro.
I'm pumped, dude. Oh my
That's
gosh,
the intro.
that. I'm like, man, this is gonna be the best episode ever.
Does that make up for the past 2 intros? Because you think all my intros are dope, but I'm like, there's a lot of wind noise in those first 2 intros.
Yeah,
the ones
this,
that we
yeah,
did
this
for
was
Mickey.
way extra, bro. Like, yeah. So I was like,
Well, because I was
man.
mad because last week's I didn't do as good a job as I wanted to do, so I was mad. I was like, all right, that's fine. I'm gonna show Manny some love, bro. You know what I mean? Now, real quick before we bring him on, I keep calling him Manny. You keep calling him Manuel. I don't want to disrespect anybody. Does he go by Manny or does he go by Manuel?
Manuel's the old. Oh no, excuse me. Manny's the old Manuel. Manuel is like Manny 2.0. So he goes
don't
by
know what you
Manuel
mean.
G. He goes
So-
by Manuel G.
So, like, I go by Mike instead of Sketch. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Intro was dope because I was in it, bro. I think an intro was
he meant dope.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
That's Josh, man.
But yeah, so it's Manuel G. Now, because this is what I know. I know a little bit of history about Manny. I've known him forever, but we've never really hooked up. Maybe except in the last year or two. But I knew him as Manny G, and then Manuel G. I think it's a professionalism thing. We'll have to ask him when he comes on too, because just more respect with Manuel, maybe.
I would
We'll have
think
to
it's
find
more
out.
respect with Manuel, but that's what I'm saying, bro. I don't want to disrespect anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
so, like, go
Don't
ahead.
disrespect. Yeah, don't disrespect. Never remove the G.
Oh no, I don't think you should remove the G, right? Because this dude is a
always
G.
a G.
This dude's definitely a G, bro. So we're wasting our time when we got a G on the line, son. Why don't we bring this man on right now? Because we got all kinds of questions for this man. Bring him on. Come on, let's
All
see what we
right,
got.
ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Manuel G. Elements Venue representing. What's up?
We still don't have the noise machine yet, Manny. I apologize about that. Now let's get down to this name thing real quick.
Hold on before you go any further. Manny was in 2nd grade, and I told my dad that the crossing guard kept on calling me Manny. So old school Manuel Sr. walked me to school one day, and he told the crossing guard, "Hey, my son doesn't like you calling him Manny." And the crossing guard thought it was a joke, and it wasn't a joke. And ever since then, Manny was cut. It's always been Manuel since 2nd grade.
So it was never Manny G. It was always
never
Manuel
Manny.
G. Okay, I got you.
That's a
Adley
Chino brother
told me
thing.
your name was Manny G. Or else I wouldn't
I
have
think it
called
came out. There's still a couple posts, like old posts, maybe where it comes up, but I'm like, nah. Well, you know what? I think I even got your phone number from Mickey Rock, and you know how you can share contacts. It came through as Manny G.
Hey,
But
that
that's
sucker
probably
was calling me
20 years.
Manny? He was calling me Manny G 20 years ago? You never told me that.
Oh, dude, Mickey Rock's gonna get it.
All right, so man, yo, no disrespect. I hope you like the intro. I hope you like the promos. I was doing no disrespect out of that. I was under the understanding that you went by the moniker Manny G. But Manuel G, Manny G, whatever you like to be called, that's what we're gonna call you. So Manuel G, the reason why we got you on, man, is honest to goodness, you are a hustler. You are a grinder. So we need to hear the story because we pull the stories out of everybody, and we've heard nothing but wonderful stories since we started this podcast. Right, Adley?
Oh yeah, no question about that too. And just when we were talking yesterday, kind of in the rehearsal, we go back, and I didn't realize how far back me and Manuel went. So this is interesting too. I think to start at the beginning of the music stuff, you told me a little bit about it, and we're like, okay, save it. But about your parents owned a restaurant, and that's how it started.
Yeah, so back in like the 80s, my dad opened up it was a tamale factory, and he converted it into a Mexican restaurant. And then he converted the restaurant back portion into a nightclub. So, I mean, I kind of grew up in this style of business, so I
What up,
kind
Gavin?
of had feels.
Wait, so it was a tamale factory here in Bakersfield.
Correct, yeah. Back
And
in
then
the
it was
80s,
what was the restaurant called?
it was called El Barlito.
El Barlito, and it was a club
and
in
that
the
means
back.
and that means the little barrel, yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Did you
Okay.
want to beat Chingo Bling's ass after he came out with the same exact story? Were you like, I had enough of this man?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Hey, so what about the DJing side though? Because even going back, I've been here since '05, and I remember seeing nonstop sounds up at all the conventions or the wedding, whatever party things, and you have your whole setup, and you're just like, how's anybody gonna compete with this dude? He's got everything. The dude, you know what I mean? Setting it up, making it pretty, and just you're like, this guy's legit, man. How did it all
Hey,
start?
And it's kind of funny because I mean, I've never been the mix master DJ, but I've been the DJ to create a business out of DJing. And what I mean by that is I utilized what I had in voice to overcome what I didn't have in the mix. So I could mix a little bit and scratch here and there, but I saw my talent more on the microphone as a presenter, and in weddings, that's what they wanted. They wanted somebody to introduce the couple, make it known that they were there, introduce the dinner, the toast, bouquet, garter, and then I would show up with not only my DJing, but I was the caterer. And I wasn't just the caterer, I
Man,
was
these
the
guys are
bartender.
grinders.
And the bartender.
Oh my
I was the
gosh.
bartending service. So when I would show up, they're like, "Oh, we're just waiting for the caterer to show up." And I'm like, "I am the caterer." And I'm like, "Okay." And then the bar service is going to be set up over here. So when you get, I am the bar service. So I would come up with this complete package. And this is back in mid 90s. So I just kind of took it to a different level. And I mean, it worked. I don't know another DJ that comes in with DJing, lighting, food, bartending, and then I was bilingual. So the bilingual kind of like killed it for me. Like I was the only person that could talk on the mic at that time and
Do
introduce
English and
everybody to English
Spanish.
and Spanish. So there wasn't
Nice.
a lot. And I mean, growing up, I mean, we grew up on vinyl. I mean, I carried vinyl, and then transitioned to the CDs. And then I honestly thought it was going to transition to mini disc. So I bought this machine.
Yeah,
Back
we
in, like,
owned
the
them.
mid-nineties.
Yeah, we owned them. We owned them,
Yeah.
man. Emmanuel,
And
don't
I
feel bad.
I bought the controller like
We did
that.
too. We did too.
But
Don't
I
feel
thought,
bad.
like, man, I walk in with the shoebox of music, and it has like thousands and
Yeah,
thousands of
yeah,
songs. But
yeah.
I mean, we all know what the transition is.
Exactly.
So it's like
The mini
you buy
disc,
one
giving away
machine
the
to another
beta.
machine.
But Manuel G, the one thing about the mini disc is that you could make it sound like you were scratching. So you're like, of
Yeah.
course, this is the evolution of the next thing. Don't feel bad. We wasted our money. But you know what? We worked at the radio station at that point, and they bought them for us. So that was kind of a lot better than if we would have still been poor and like trying to come up and us being like, So how me and Adelaide started was we met in college, and he was like hanging out with like kind of like the more fraternity dudes and stuff like that. But then he started the hip hop committee at our college radio station. And then one night, him and I, we were at the same party, and he was like, "Yo, can you rock the mic?" And I was like, "All right." So I started hyping the crowd. And then that night we went to a 7-Eleven. We were walking out of 7-Eleven. I'm like, I never met another half Asian person before. Wow, this dude looks like me. But anyways, neither here nor there. We started kicking it, and like we came up like that. So my question for you is, so you've got this hustler pop. You know, your dad is a hustler, obviously. If he's gonna, take an old tamale factory and then just get a stab at a restaurant, because restaurants, I mean, and you know this, it's very thin margins. Very
it's not
thin
easy.
margins. You got to hustle. You got to really, really grind, you know? And everybody wants to be a padrote and buy a restaurant because they want to be a baller shot caller. But in real life, we're talking about 90-hour weeks. And you know this as well as I do. Your kids working, you know, your wife working, like everybody working, everybody putting in the grind. Okay, so now you're a kid seeing this in your old man. And then he opens the nightclub in the back, or what comes next? So it becomes the restaurant.
It was a restaurant, a nightclub, and then we opened a rodeo. We had a rodeo for a minute.
Gosh. All right, hold
then
on,
we
hold on. Don't go too fast. Like that's the problem with you DJs, especially in Bakersfield. You go too fast. You got all this story in you. Come on,
We
man.
want the juice.
Yeah, obviously. We want all the juice. So he opens this nightclub. Now, what type of nightclub are we talking about?
So it was more Latin based. So, I mean, he brought in groups like Los Caminantes. He brought in Esquigel Peña, which was a big time artist from at that time. Banda was really big,
Yeah.
and I grew up on that banda. So it's like I started DJing
Banda
that
makes her
banda.
dance, bro. Don't you know that? Come on. Banda makes her dance.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was
One more
crazy.
reason you and Chingo Bling need to fight. But anyways, please go.
I met all these artists like at a young age, like Hispanic artists.
Yeah.
And I looked up to him, and it's like I was always the guy doing tacos in the background, getting all the alcohol situated and the bar situated, but I never was like the presenter or the DJ or anything. I was just the background guy.
Now, how old are you at this point?
I'm 52.
No. When you're
at that
in this
point, I
point of
was-
the story.
I was 17, 18.
Wow, you're already you're getting up there like to DJing age too. Like, so it's not like you're 10 or 11 or something.
Oh no! And then once he bought his own speakers, that's when it was on. Because I was a sophomore in high school. Timex Social Club had just come out,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Rumors, and that's when I started buying music, and that was in like 1986. I didn't even have 1200s. I bought Fisher turntables at like Good Guys or Circuit City because there
Fisher
was nowhere to
Price?
buy. There was nowhere to
No,
buy equipment here in
Fisher.
Bakersfield. Yeah,
No,
I bought
but-
Fisher
Yeah.
turntables.
But
And
okay,
I put
so
quarters
but-
on it, and I tried to scratch on Fisher turntables, and no, it wasn't
no,
working.
that was we all. I hope we all remember that ghetto trick, nickels and quarters, with
Yeah.
the tape. But
Yeah.
here's my question for you though: where are you getting needles? Because these turntables you're talking about right now, Adlai started on DJing turntables, so like he's like, what are Fishers? Like you and I know you're talking about your grandmother's record player turntables. So what?
Well, it wasn't that old. I mean, Fisher turntables in the 80s, and that was.
That was a big.
I mean, they
big
weren't
name,
used for
wasn't it?
DJing. They
But-
weren't used for. It was a Fisher sound system. They had like home stereo sound system.
Yeah, it was a home
Fisher.
stereo unit. It
Yeah,
wasn't. It
home
wasn't a.
stereo.
That I'm telling you. That's why I'm saying. What did you do for needles? Because like you've got to be
No, they
destroying
came-
these needles.
Oh no, they were gone. Like you always had to buy needles. And you know what mixer did we use in the 80s?
The
There was only
realistic.
one
Newmark.
mixer.
Oh,
The realistic.
The realistic.
The
Radio
realistic.
Shack.
Yeah, so the realistic Radio Shack mixer. So I had a Radio Shack mixer and two Fisher turntables my sophomore year in high school, and I thought I was badass.
You were the
I
baddest
was-
dude in that town, bro. What are you
In the
talking about?
school,
You
yeah.
thought
In
you
my
were the
school.
baddest dude in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
town.
my
Come
school.
on. Now, what town? What town
Yeah,
were
so
you
I'm-
from originally? Was it one of these smaller towns, or was it
I was
Bakersfield?
no, born and raised Bakersfield. My dad
Okay.
was from Mexico.
No, because
So,
everybody
but he
does
came
this
here in the
Arvin
60s.
thing or something like that. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm from Arvin," and Adelaide knows all these towns, but I don't because I'm in Pittsburgh, right? So Adelaide's like, "Oh yeah," and then they'll talk about the town for 10 minutes. I'm like, "Can you fill me in on what you're talking about?" So that's why I wanted to know what
know
which
what?
region it was.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Yeah,
though, what
no,
high,
no,
what
born
high
and
school did
raised.
you go to?
Okay.
What high school did you go to though?
I went to West.
West High.
West
Okay.
High School-
Okay.
West High
Okay.
School.
So what does that
Back
mean,
in the
Adelaide?
80s.
Because I have
That
no
would-
idea what that means.
At that time, that was the edge of town. It wasn't a bad neighborhood or anything. But
No. During that time, it was
was
upscale.
fancy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
fancy. So
So now you're in high school. You got these Fisher turntables that you bought at Zodi's. You got the
the realistic
realistic-
yeah,
mixer,
realistic. But
the
I'm
realistic
telling you,
mic.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
got them. But you also got them parachute pants from Zodi's too, with all them zippers on it. You're looking fresh, son. You might have the little snappy in the back. You know what I'm talking about, with the Japanese flag on the front. Never so proud to be
Hey,
Asian. Everybody was
I
rocking
used
that.
to wear those Japanese.
Of course, bro.
Yeah.
It was the only
I had
time
tied around
it
my
was.
leg.
Yeah, it was the only time it was cool to be Asian, back in like 1983 or something like that. Then after that, I became Chinito
Oh, that's
again.
crazy. I
Hence
remember
how
my
we got
mom
this
taking
name.
me to the mall. Taking me to the mall to look for that Japan sign.
Nah, bro, you
on a
got to go
shirt.
to Zodi's. You had to go to Zodi's for that, homeboy. They didn't have that at the mall.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to what we're saying. So you're walking into school, Karate Kids on the movie theater, blah, 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 and you're cutting, bro. Okay, now when are we getting into nightclubs? Or are we doing school dances? What are we doing here?
Oh man, it's crazy. I saw a vision with house parties, and I had access to alcohol because we owned restaurants. Not that my dad didn't know. So, I mean, I was supplying the alcohol. People knew that I was having the music. I had
The
the
plug.
alcohol, and then anybody whose parents went out of town, hey, my parents are going out of town. All right, that's all I need to know. So, I mean, we were making money back in the '80s. We only
Did
charged
you-
$5, red cup. And
Oh, yeah. I remember them parties. We had them in West
What's up,
Covina.
Redeemed?
Yeah, I grew up in West Covina, bro. We had them same parties. Don't feel bad. But
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
real quick. So now you're the plug. Do you have a hookup at Kinko's for the flyers?
That was crazy. I was never in charge of the flyers. I was in charge of distributing the flyers. And the thing with me is, I was a club soccer player, so I had connects.
Oh,
Well, if you're a club soccer player, all the popular kids are on all the other high schools, and they were from Garces, BHS, Highland. So they would give me the flyers. I distribute it to my boys, and then before you knew it, it was a big
Hey,
party.
now, Lauren's that's your wife, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the kids' ears are covered, so you can say whatever you want now.
all right. So now let's just do a little reminiscent here, because we're from three different areas. So Adelaide grew up in Orange County. I grew up in West Covina. You grew up in Bakersfield, but all from California. So kind of the same vibe, if you will. Now, when you guys were in high school, if your party got broke up by the cops, did you have a spot that everybody from every high school would know to go meet up at to find the next party?
Yes, sir.
Did
And
you have
was
that, Adelaide?
Taco Bell on Ming Avenue.
Wait, did you have that,
That's
Ad?
where we met.
Yeah, we had that. We had Tommy's Burgers on Warner and Magnolia in Orange
right.
County.
Ours was El Loco and Covina. Now check this out, how gutter this place was. They hired an amateur boxer to make sure no fights broke out in the parking lot. Like, this dude's like, some tomato can, but he's beating people up, and he's going and fighting and stuff like that, and then just beating on 16 and 17-year-old kids at a taco place, dude. That's grimy, bro.
Hey, the Taco
Yeah.
Bell, the one on Ming, the one you're talking about, it's now
But it wasn't.
Los Fias
It
or
wasn't at
something.
yeah. What's that? Yeah, that right there. That's where the original Taco Bell was. So that's where we would all go after the party got busted. We would all leave. And
How
go
packed
there.
would it get there
And
at
then
Taco
there-
Bell?
Oh, fudge. Would you hate to work at
Oh,
that
everybody,
Taco
it'd be
Bell?
crazy.
That would
was crazy.
suck
That's
to
when
work
they
at
made
that
real
Taco
beans.
Bell.
They used
They-
to make real beans during that time.
Oh, I'd
Now
be
it's
so
all,
mad to work
you
at
don't even
that
wanna
Taco
know.
Bell. I'd be like, I'm not going to be at that Taco Bell. Unless like you were a stoner or something and you're like, bro, I want to find the party and I'm getting off my shift at 10. So then everyone's showing up anyway. It's like, all right, where's the next party? You know what I
I'll
mean?
hook you up with the real beans. Yeah, dude. I think
Oh,
every
it sucked
town
to
had
work
that
there.
spot though, dude. But that'd be so. No matter what high school you went to this Taco Bell, and just kicked it. Even
Yeah.
Redeem says we
And
meet
then
the one up
check-
on
check this
8th
out,
Street.
so-
Yeah.
So in high school, my junior year in high school, our soccer team was like in position, like after our sophomore year, okay, we're gonna win Valley. So my friend of mine says, hey, my parents are out of town. I'm like, hey, let's throw a party.
Oh, God.
So start dishing out flyers at all the football games. I had guys at Garces, guys at BHS.
Oh, it's going to be a bad
So we
story.
throw this big, massive party, right? And the rule was not to let anybody inside. But
Yeah, that rule got broken.
people had to go to the restroom. And we had the DJ system right at the patio sliding door where no one could come in. We were pouring out of a bedroom, so that when officials came, we knew to shut everything down. Well, I screwed up and let everybody in. Then I was pushing this guy, and I'm like, "Hey, man, you have to leave. The party's over." And he's like, "I'm not leaving." And I'm like, "Sir, you have to leave." And he goes into his shirt and pulls out a badge.
Oh no.
And he's like ABC, like, which is alcohol
Ooh.
beverage control. And I looked at my friend that was at the owner of the house because he saw I was dealing with him. And I mean, we're 17 years old. And it's like, oh man, it's over. Like, I was thinking soccer, and I know he was thinking soccer. Well, that night, whatever, they took us in, and we had to spend a night at juvenile hall and call our parents. His parents were out of town, and I mean, they didn't.
So he had to stay longer.
They weren't. Yeah, they weren't. They weren't too happy, and it was my idea, but it was honestly, it was always on how to make $1 at a young age, and I took it. I mean, I'm just saying, I took that situation. They let us play soccer, so the good thing is we were able to play soccer because they were going to ban us from playing soccer. So we were able to play soccer, and that year we did win Valley. So we did win Valley my junior year. We didn't win our senior, but we won our junior year. But I don't know. I took, the DJing, the music, the energy from people wanting to go to an event to another level, and then to another level, and then to another level, to the level I'm at right now.
Manuel, let me ask you.
Changed.
Yeah, let me ask you this then. Was that the last house party you did?
That was.
Seriously? Okay.
Oh,
okay,
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then from that,
house
you went to
party.
clubs and stuff.
I went to field. After that, I went to field parties.
What are
So
field
when
parties?
field parties out, yeah. So we
You
would
didn't
take
learn your
generators.
lesson? Manuel G.
But field parties they couldn't find us. So the helicopter
Oh,
would
okay.
show up, and we would just disperse. So we always put kegs in a vehicle, and then
In
the
a truck.
vehicle would take off, and no one knew where the vehicle was at.
Oh, how'd you have?
House
Did you have a
party
DJ
kinda-
out there too?
Yeah, we would have music out there.
Really?
We always
So
had music, bro.
Okay.
Music was the energy for anything. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just, I mean, it was different. Like, whenever I had a problem, I used to ride bikes a lot. I would put my Walkman on, put my mixtape on, DJ Sparkle. I used to buy, he doesn't even, I mean, he knows now
Wow.
because I told him, but I used to buy DJ Sparkle mix cassettes back in the 80s. And I'd throw that thing on, and I would just ride my bike.
Wow.
And I just ride my bike just to get rid of problems. And I mean, it was just the energy that the music gave you, and you could just be like free like a bird on a bike.
Yeah.
For me, it was a bicycle. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't lifting weights. It was a bicycle, and I would just take off, and
Smart.
it would eliminate the problems for me at the time, and
Yeah.
go on to the next thing, and what's going on next.
Dude, and here's what
So-
when Manuel's on his bike ride, listening to music, cruising around, he's doing this. Oh man, look at that field over there. That'd be the perfect place for a field party. Oh, look at that. And then you realize, wow, I'm far from home. Because dude,
Nah, man.
do the kids still
There
do
was some
that? I
crazy
wonder.
field names.
Yeah, those.
So-
oh,
I
man.
always ask like that. I have a lot of young kids that work for me, and I ask them that. I'm like, hey, do you guys do field parties anymore? And they go, no. You guys do house parties? He goes, yeah, we do house parties here and there. I'm like, oh, okay.
I
Back
feel like
then,
they
for me, it
don't.
was like it was a business.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, it
crazy.
was a
You
business
thought of
for
it
me.
as a business at that age. That's
Yeah.
bananas
Yeah,
that
as a
you
business.
that your mind was already set on that. Now, when you're stacking your chips, did you have an idea of like, okay, now I'm going to invest in this next with these funds, I'm going to build onto this, or was it just I want to keep stacking? What was the idea at that age?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never stacked, and that was my problem.
Oh,
My dad tells me today, son, for all the money that you made working for us, working at restaurants, you could have owned. He always says houses, real estate. You could own 4, 5, or 6 houses. I was a spender. Sad to say, I was a drinker. So
oh,
I used to spend my money, and I used to spend money on friends. So I used to be at El Torito. El Torito was the hot spot back in the 80s, and I was able to go in there and do my thing because of my dad's pool in Bakersfield. So they're like, oh, that's Manuel Gutierrez's son. So I would open tabs and spend money on people that I shouldn't have, but I mean, it took me years to learn that lesson. I mean, I shouldn't have done it at that time, but I never stacked chips. Never. I was
Wow.
just fortunate to be at people invested in me to work for them, to make them money. I made money, and little by little. Elements was a whole other story though. This is early on. This is when I was DJing in clubs. I was one of the main guys in Bakersfield that converted restaurants into nightclubs. I
Yeah.
saw that at El Torito, and I just started doing it at different restaurants. And they'd always give me the door. So I would make
Yeah.
the door, bring in Alex G, bring in Noe G, bring in Suave Javi that lives in Santa Maria now, and he does really well in his mobile DJing. DJ Stay, his brother. So there was just a little clan that I had that would always help me wherever I went. Because I wasn't, like I told you, I wasn't the mixing DJ. I
You're
was
a party
more like
DJ.
the pioneer. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was a party DJ, the pioneer, the guy on the mic,
Yeah.
kind of the organizer. And then I would bring my guys in. But, I mean, Serato, once Serato came in, I saw the game just change. It just like, all right, so now before I had 10 competitors, now I have
Yeah.
60 competitors. And
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not going to change my price. I'm going to stick to my guns. But then I started to fall off on some gigs because more guys were able to get music. And to me, I always had the money to buy equipment. Equipment was never a problem. It was the music I had problems with. Noe G used to go like once a week to LA, and he's like, "Hey, I'm jamming LA. You want to go?" I'm like, "Oh man, I'm working at a restaurant. I can't go." But he would go like on the weekly, go buy music,
Yeah.
go buy music, just to keep up to date. Because in Bakersfield we didn't have that. We couldn't
You
buy
didn't-
music here.
Manuel G, you never DJ'd at a radio station? Did you ever
No,
DJ?
I never did a radio station because I heard you guys didn't get paid well.
No, we didn't
And
get
I wanted
paid.
to get paid.
No, yeah. That's not the place for money, but you got free vinyl.
Yeah,
And then
you
like
got free vinyl. Yeah,
if you
I
knew
heard that.
I'll say this, if my brain worked like it does now when me and him were in radio, we would have got paid. Like I would have figured out how to get paid cuz like now I know how to get paid. Back then I was just a poor kid that didn't understand anything. I just wanted to be a DJ. You know what I mean? Like you were a businessman. You were always a businessman. I'm assuming your father taught you a lot. I didn't become a businessman until I was 30 35, 36? No, 40. Until I was
Yeah.
40. Yeah. So like your mind wasn't DJing, although you share the craft of DJing with the rest of us. However, you were a businessman. You're always a businessman. This is very fascinating.
I think you got a phone call. I
Oh.
think you got a phone call.
yeah.
Yeah, serious.
Is
Did
there
you hear? Did
something-
you hear that? Did you hear most of that?
Yeah, I heard most of it. Yeah, my mind was more. It was the DJing, but I mean, I always saw the business sense in DJing.
But do you believe that you got that from your dad? Because like I would
No.
assume seeing your dad grind it out. Like, go ahead.
No, I mean, I did. My dad was I know construction. People don't understand that. My dad's a contractor, and he's 76 right now, and he still builds houses.
Still work. Yep.
He's still working, and that's just the Hispanic in him. That's the Mexican in him.
Yep.
That's him coming.
It's the old school. Yeah.
Yeah. One thing, and Mike and Emmanuel, one thing I was thinking about too. When you're young like that, you talk about going to bars and just kind of opening up a tab, buying people drinks.
I remember
think
you
there
used
was
to do that.
Yeah, just
Remember
dumb
that
stuff
when
like
we were
that.
in college?
You just wanted to, I guess, wanted to be. It wasn't about flossing so much as being social. But then when we got in radio too, it was like, I just want to be in the limelight. I want people to be like, yeah, I know those guys. Those guys are the Chino brothers, the DJs, whatever. And it, yeah, just like anything, if we were smarter with money back then,
I didn't have
that
any
maybe
money, dude.
It's just yeah, we didn't have a lot anyways. But
Daniel, I was just telling Adley when you froze up, he used to do that when we were in college. He would buy up the bar.
that was
he would-
with a credit card,
And
like,
it was
maxed
his
out.
credit
It
card
was
too. I was
bad,
like,
it
man,
bad.
dude. I remember when he had to pay that debt back too. I was like, bro,
Yeah.
I told you not to do that, dude. And he's like,
Yeah.
stop talking like that. But we were both broke at the time and way, way younger. So all right,
Dude.
so
And I was gonna say real quick too, in the '90s, they just give you credit cards. I felt like too, or I did. I'd always fill out the applications wherever they were at. You'd walk into the the baseball game, there'd be a table out there. Hey, get a free T-shirt
At University of Arizona, it was
Yes, they're
awful.
all
At
over.
University of Arizona, and they had all kinds of free tchotchkes. Like you get a free hat, you get a free T-shirt, and you're poor, so you're like, yeah, man, I want a free T-shirt. You know what I mean? But I didn't have good enough credit, bro. I didn't have good enough credit, so they're like, nope, you can't have that.
I didn't have
Oh, yeah.
after a while. They wouldn't give any more credit cards after a few. It
All right,
was
let's get
but-
back to this. So you're visioning this as a business. You've learned this business ethic from your father, which is great because, and I gotta know that you know this. Usually, second generation after a businessman does not want to be a businessman. They don't learn the traits from their parents. They're usually spoiled. They usually don't understand the grind. You know what I mean? You see that so often in second generation businessmen. But you're displaying nothing but not only the grind, but how to turn the grind into a more lucrative endeavor. And that's
Yeah, so my
interesting.
dad was more restaurant, more construction. I was more music. He would get upset because I wouldn't want to work on a Friday night at our restaurant because I had a house party to go DJ. And he never understood, like, you're gonna go DJ a house party and we got $1 million restaurant here and we need you here at the restaurant. I'm like, Dad, I've been working all week, but this party came up. And I really, in my heart, it's just, you want to be around that vibe. You guys know that energy.
Mhm.
And it's just that energy that you get from DJing and seeing people dance. So I did follow his grind in that aspect, like the hard work part of it, but I took a different avenue because I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to do construction. I didn't want to own my own restaurant, even though I have elements. I don't consider
Too
it. I don't
late.
consider it a restaurant. It's more like a venue.
Venue.
So
I
it's
got
more
you.
like an event
Yeah,
center.
yeah.
Because my wife told me, if you get this spot, you're not going to be a restaurant because restaurants 80, 90 hours a week.
Yeah.
Even though
Nonstop.
it's nonstop, even
And
though
20% margins.
yeah, and even though I'm putting a lot of time in here, and I'm here late at night, but restaurant would take even more of my time. So I did follow his steps and his grind, but I took it a little differently, more event wise.
No, I respect it. Now, but I also know, like, because also there was something in the story initially that I was hearing that I thought that being a DJ for you was robotic. But now that I'm hearing you describe being a DJ, I'm like, no, you're a DJ. Like you just knew how to make money, but you're a DJ. Because you're right. There's that controlling the crowd, and only a DJ knows what that is. You know what I mean? There's that, like, I will tell you when to dance. I will tell you when to put your hands up. You will listen to me, but it's a symphony, and only a DJ knows that. You know what I mean? Like a businessman, you are, however, you are a DJ as well, because there's no way you'd know that if you were just a businessman. You'd be like, yeah, I spun records. That's how it went. But yeah, so now that all the competition's closing in on you, and you're looking around, you're like, all right, what am I going to do here? Because I'm not lowering my price. So where do we go next?
So I mean, from there, I mean that's where my hands. I look at it this way. I say my hands helped me make money in the music industry, but then my hands started to make me money in the bar industry. I really love bartending, but I only can bartend when it's busy. And I started working at restaurants that we didn't own because we closed ours in '95. And I really enjoyed working at a restaurant, not a bar, but a restaurant bar. And then I would meet people, and then I'd meet couples, and then couples would say, hey, well, we're getting married. And I'm like, oh, you're talking to the right guy. So that was my opening. And I'm like, look, here's my card. I own Nonstop Sound. And Nonstop Sound's been since 1988. So I had a fallout with a couple, with one of my friends from high school, and it was called Nonstop Sound and Productions. That's what we were called back in '88. And then I had to change it to Nonstop Sound. So that's where Nonstop Sound came from back in the '80s. So I would give them my card. They would call me. And then I would get a good little crowd. So the restaurant owners, wherever I worked, liked me working there because their bar was busy.
Oh yeah, of course.
And at the same time, I was making money from the bar plus making money on the weekends with our own customers. So I took it to that level. So I started bartending more, DJing more, and then it just everything just opened up. It just opened up for me. It was just like a blessing. Like business owners, like multimillionaires
What up,
that
EVP?
owned reception halls. They wanted me to run the reception hall. Then I would run the reception hall, and they would pay me to run the reception hall, but then I was the caterer, the bartender,
Oh man.
and the
You cut
DJ.
yourself checks.
So,
Okay.
so I'm making money for running the hall. Then I'm making money to DJ the event, making money to cater the event, making money to bartend the event.
Quadruple
package
dipping.
deals-
I love it.
So the package deals were always where I made my money at. And
I mean, I feel like you're
Element-
making money even when you were only doing one deal, but the package deal just made the money that much funner. That's what I'm looking at here.
Oh yeah, and a lot of DJs. I mean, no disrespect, they're DJs,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
they only know one mindset.
It's a DJ. Yeah.
My thing was, okay, not that I conquered the DJ because I never did,
No, I
but I'm
understand.
like, okay, that's one package. Now, where can I make the other package? Okay, I go to a wedding and I'm just a DJ and I see the wedding coordinator and she's in charge and she gets paid $2,000 or $3,000. Okay, so sorry, but I'm gonna eliminate the wedding coordinator. Now they're gonna hire me, and I got the whole package. So I come in as a DJ with the nonstop sound band, all my guys helping me out because I can't do this by myself.
Yeah,
okay?
of course, of course.
It's not a one man show, but
No.
but I'm the brain behind it, creating these packages. And not to be conceited, but I haven't seen that since me. I mean, I don't know anybody else that.
I don't
The only
see
one
that.
that I could say can touch me a little bit, and it's his birthday today, is DJ Ace, because that brother can cook,
Ace.
and he's good on the mic. He can mix it up. He's a good guy to mix, to DJ, and he can
Yeah.
cook. I haven't seen him yet put it together like that, but I would come in, and I mean, people are investing thousands of dollars in a wedding, so you can't mess up. It's a one-time shot.
Yeah.
So this is one thing. You got to come in, and you got to come in strong, and you got to come in with your army, and you got to knock it out. Because if you don't knock it out, well, then you get that bad
You're
rap.
gonna be hungry.
Hey,
You're gonna be hungry,
man-
son.
Yeah. Manuel did it in a bad event, or the food wasn't good, or this
Yeah.
and that. But
No,
I mean,
none of
you have
that.
to you have to come in strong.
That's why you gotta have your
Element-
squad too. When you're saying
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
have a crew, of course you had to have
Yeah.
a crew because you're doing this professionally. Like you're not coming in to pretend. This isn't something they're going to be embarrassed of. And on top of it, you're trying to get another gig out of this gig from whoever else is
Yeah.
getting married next.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where to shine more at an event where there's 300 people. Out of that
course.
300 event, I mean, there's like 30, 40 people that are going to have a party. They're going to have a wedding. They're going to have a baby shower. They're going to have something.
Quinceañera, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Manuel G was walking around asking how many 14-year-olds were in the place. He's like,
Just
how
for
many
the
y'all
50?
14? How many
Yeah,
y'all 14?
quinceañera.
15 jump off.
I need to get up. I need to get up on this. Now hold on a sec, Hustler, because we're hearing all this stuff. You got a michelada mix too?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had that going on here at Elements, but I really didn't put it out to the pandemic. The pandemic really, man, it knocked me out
Yeah.
mentally, businessly, and it just put me in a little corner. And it just took me a minute, like I mean, we were taking out everything that I knew I couldn't do. I couldn't do social gathering here at my venue. You couldn't go DJ an event, even though people were DJing. The virus is real. You couldn't go bartend an event. You couldn't bartend at a restaurant. Restaurants were closed, so bars weren't open. I mean, we just got completely shut down. So I did have to like sit in a corner, and I'm like thinking, like, what can I do?
Dog,
And
they
my
shut
wife's
my
like, "You're me too."
they shut my shops down. Also, they shut my shops down for 2 months. And you know what we did? We had a list of all our customers, and we would text them every day that we were going to show up, and then they would call us with their orders, and we'd leave the orders on the front. Like, dude, we had to do what we had to do because we had to survive because they shut us down. So let's
Yeah,
get
they
to
shut us
this,
down.
man. This
Yeah, they
michelada.
shut
Come
us
on.
down. So then I thought, like, my wife is the one that's like, she always said your michelada is the best. And I mean, my michelada is my michelada, but then I thought, like, okay, how can I make different flavors? I just started playing with it, and all of a sudden it blew up. It blew up. I honestly thought I was going to get a contract with Clamato because I was emailing, leaving messages. I wanted to get this commercialized. I wanted to throw it
How
out
many
there big
hours
time,
in the
but
day do you have, man? Like I don't like I'm exhausted.
dude.
I'm exhausted from running my shops and doing Chino
Yeah.
Brothers. You're like, by the way, I was with DJ Quick last week and in Texas. How y'all like that?
yeah, no, that was a crazy week. Like, I was playing.
I don't know how you
Yeah.
do it, bro. But anyways, come
Yeah.
on. So now, your wife's telling you you're making these dope micheladas, and then you're like, all right, fine, I'm gonna bottle it. Like, how do you even know where to get it bottled? How do you know like to get it labeled? I don't even know how you do that stuff.
Hey, and it was hard. Like, shipping was bad. There was back orders. It wasn't easy. I mean, I have a really good gal that does all my business cards and all my flyers. She was able to get my stickers. I had to wait on the bottles.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, the business was really well for micheladas. Now it kind of slowed down a little bit. I still pushed it out there, but now that businesses are open, it's kind of hard to sell it. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I
it's
still
good to
have
go
it.
to the
I still
bar.
I push it out there. Yeah, I push it out there. When we have events here, people ask for it. They'll buy a bottle. They'll take it with them. So, I mean, I still sell it.
Yeah, the
Element-
I'll even say
Element-
Manuel. His micheladas are bomb. He was at our last concert too, and the beer line's one thing, all right? You had a concert and stuff, 2,000 people there, but the michelada line was super long.
Was
people
it?
would wait. Yeah, people would wait 20 minutes to get a michelada. That's
In
how
the
good
hot
they
sun
were.
too, huh?
That's how good they were.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
There's
got to be
no
good,
food.
dude. If you're drinking
Oh
with
my
them in the
gosh.
hot sun, you know what I mean? Because it's a lot of calories. It's a lot of
Yeah.
weight on the tummy.
It's a meal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back then, I could only drink like two because it is weight. It's like it's filling.
Dude, we
Yeah.
had Wifey
like-
on here. We had DJ Wifey on here like 5 episodes ago. We spent 45 minutes talking about micheladas because you guys in Bakersfield have like steroidized them. Like Adler's like, yeah, you can get candy bacon. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, man. I was like, what about ceviche? Like, oh yeah, ceviche is like standard now. I'm like, how do you do this? But do you do that at your spot? Do you put all that crazy stuff on the micheladas?
No, I keep mine simple.
Just keep
I mean,
it
when
real,
I do
huh?
those, I'll maybe add a shrimp on it, but I just keep mine simple. But I've seen like some. I mean,
Like with a
it doesn't look
donut.
like a michelada. Yeah.
Like, what is this, man?
It's a meal. That's a meal.
definitely a meal.
the
I
way
mean,
they
a
cut 'em
regular
up.
michelada is already a meal. Like you drink
Yeah.
a michelada, it's like, all right, man, we're good. We're good.
I'm
like,
full.
yeah. And somehow it gets you drunker. I don't have no idea how. You ever drink a michelada just one and you're like, I'm a little tipsy now. Can't be driving. But if you have a Bud Light, nothing's gonna happen to you. You know what I mean? Something about that magic of that michelada stuff that you guys put in there. I don't know what that is, but whatever that magic is, keep it cracking, baby, because that stuff is delicious. All right, so you start pushing the micheladas, and it gets you over the hump. Now, how in your mind, how did you think to even get a venue? Like that's it. That's my goal. Because you're already telling us that you don't
I
stack
didn't.
chips. You didn't. Oh, okay.
I
Let's see.
didn't. This is all. To me, I've always believed in be at the right place at the right time, and it's all about timing. It's
Bro,
all
you're-
about timing.
When you work 90 hours a week, you can be at the right place at the right time. That's how many hours you're putting in. Don't sell yourself
Yeah.
short, dude. Come on now.
Yeah, no, but it was timing because this venue was owned by another person, and she opened up in 2008, and I did an event here like in 2009, and I came in with the full package. The people that hired me for this venue, I did bartending, catering, and DJing. And I was sitting down in the kitchen eating, and the wife and husband came up to me and like, "Hey, this will be a perfect fit for you." And I'm like, "Nah, I was too busy. I had packages deals all over Bakersfield. I didn't want a venue." And then whatever, I finished the event, came back here 6 months later, did the same exact thing. And they're really good people, but they weren't a DJ, they weren't a bartending, they weren't cooks. They just owned the venue. So it's kind of hard to make money as a venue if you don't do the whole thing, because you're
Yeah,
subbing
yeah.
out and you're giving
Gotta
money
start out
basically
Yeah.
to other people when you can make it all in one house.
Well, you have to, like, in order to make the margins work, you have to shave where you can shave. I'm seeing where the story's going, though, but please continue.
Yeah. So she came up to me and I'm like, well, let's talk. And A couple weeks passed. We talked. Numbers made sense. I brought in a partner with me, and that's Sonny that owns the Sada Grill, because it's right there by the station.
Yep,
It's a good friend of mine.
Yep.
So after I bought him out, he opened up that taco shop right by your station, Adelaide,
Yeah.
and he does really well. So once I was here on my own, and I didn't have a liquor license, okay? So there's a lot of issues when you do events.
Huh.
So
Tricky.
we would let people bring in their alcohol, but
Oh,
I always
that's good.
liked concerts. So to do concerts, you had to get a nonprofit involved or somebody that owned a liquor license. Well, I got into the concert business and started bringing in more events, and that put up a red flag
Hold on.
to other
Manuel
businesses.
G, I apologize. I just have to give a quick shout out to Herb. Herb just shouted out. He shops at my shop. He stopped in today and he told me, you know what he told me, Adley?
Huh.
He said he watched the Redeemed and Wifey episode. And he was like, that was the greatest podcast I've ever seen.
Wow.
Although this
thank you.
podcast is catching up real quick.
This
I
is dope,
promise
too.
you that.
Yeah. They're all good. Come on.
All right, come on. So let's get back to this. I apologize, Manuel G. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
but
it's
you
all
gotta
good.
you gotta
It's
show
all
the
good.
love. So you're doing the numbers. She comes up to you, and now please pick up from there.
So I mean, I get the business from her. We work it out, but there was weekends where I didn't have events. So I'm like, I don't have an event. We're
Lose
gonna do
money.
a concert. Yeah. So I started doing. I tried to do club nights, but then that brought up a red flag because I'm not a.
When you say red flag, you're talking with ABC and stuff?
ABC, other businesses were hating against me because
Yeah, you can't be messing
I was
around,
taking
no.
I was taking business away from them. Understandable.
Hmm.
So I do this one concert one night, and ABC shows up, and they're like, "Sir, you're doing too many events, and you're going to have to shut down, and you're going to have to put a liquor license in here." And they're right. They're right.
Okay.
You got to do everything by the book. Do everything right. So I had to shut down. I could still do my weddings. I couldn't do concerts or club nights. So it took me a good 6 to 8 months to get reorganized and reevaluate how am I going to make this business move forward to benefit myself, my family, and survive, basically. So I was fortunate. People started booking me left and right for weddings.
Oh man,
Nice.
I stacked
That's
that money
nice.
because a liquor license it's not cheap.
Mm.
And then I was able to purchase a liquor license.
So now you're learning how
And
to
I-
stack that money, Manuel G. You're
Yeah,
stacking it this
yeah.
time. This time you said, I'm not buying the bar. I'm
Yeah.
holding this.
Yeah. So I mean, one thing led to another, man.
Oh, I froze up again.
I was thinking about
It
it.
wasn't easy.
Yeah. Well, I can say, hey, dude, let me tell you this, man. You're out of all the people that I know, from promoters to DJs to all these guys, dude. And Mike knows there's a lot of shady people in this business.
Oh yeah.
But Manuel, you're the dude that people, me too, and now Michael knows this. You're the dude that there's no doubt if you say something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Your reputation is upstanding. Everybody knows. I mean, dude, and Mike, I don't know if I told you this, but Manuel and I were talking last week. Everybody's getting sick. The Omicron's coming around. Manuel's like, hey, look, free Pozole at my joint. Come through. You know,
Yeah,
it's
you were
it's
telling
tough
me.
times for
Yeah,
everybody.
he was telling me that.
I mean, Manuel's that type of dude that just, you know, we obviously see that you're blessed, but we know that you've put in work to get where you're at. But
Yeah.
you turn around
You
and
put
thank
in the
people
grind.
that way, things like that. I mean, I think one of the first things we kind of teamed up on a few years ago was breakfast burritos for the homeless. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, you don't see Sizzler doing that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying you don't see a lot of places do that. Manuel just said, hey, you know what? This is
And
my
for-
town. Let's do it.
And for me, the food, like I learned during the pandemic, that
Baby
it wasn't
George.
just about DJing and mixing. It wasn't about bartending and making drinks. I mean, I could make food
Hmm.
and give it out and do pozole and do fundraisers for Alex G.
Yeah. That was another thing. So respect. Alex G unfortunately passed away a couple months ago, and it was sad because he was one of the OG DJs here in town that had respect for everybody. But you know, Manuel G put it together like, hey, let's celebrate this dude's life. You know what I'm saying? And it was a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. You doing stuff like that for sure, man. For sure. Don't think it ever goes
Yeah, my
unnoticed too,
dad.
because we know.
Yeah,
That's a
my
blessing.
dad always told me about food. Like I just remember at a young age, we'd always have parties, and it was never about the food. It was always we go to restaurants. He would let us order appetizers and whatever we wanted. Like food wasn't a big deal. And I know now my wife kind of monitors a little bit with my kids, but I mean, you grow up differently, and to me, food wasn't a big deal.
Was it more the kind of just being together? Was you think it was more of that, huh? I'm just kind of throwing that out there. I can see that
Yeah.
you getting emotional and stuff too, because I mean, dude, you know, you go through a lot of tough stuff, and Mike, we've been through stuff. You know, I've been through stuff, Manuel. But just you, just know. I'll just say this: know that Bakersfield loves you. I mean, I'll just throw that out there. And again, I've known you from, gosh, when I moved here in '05, we were talking about that, how we both DJ'd at El Rio. I thought you hated me because
Yeah.
it was Mickey Rock and DJ Andy, another one, rest in peace, and Haas, the three amigos, and then we're doing Saturday, and you were doing Fridays, and then you left, and then Mickey's all, "Hey, Fridays are open," so I went in and got that spot, and then because I used to go
Stole
by
his spot. That's what you did, bro.
I was like, man, don't hate me.
Why?
Oh
Why
my
would you
God,
do
dude.
something like that, bro? Come on now. I thought you liked Manuel G. I'm just teasing.
But it
Just
was
clouded.
you kind of left anyways, right? I mean, you kind of were like, it was
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean, this
reasons
cat
it was.
makes moves, dog. Don't. I
He
would.
moved on to bigger and better.
Yeah, I would
believe.
highly. I wouldn't believe that I'm taking something that he wanted. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
that's how it goes. So I mean, Manuel G, I'll say this: having a good name is better than having money. Having a good name is better than having, anything. Obviously you want to have a blessing with your children. Obviously you want to have a blessing with your marriage, but having a good name is better than having money in your pocket. Although money in your pocket helps, bro. I like having a couple bucks in my pocket, man. Once you open your own business, you're like, oh, okay, I like how this works. This is
Manuel?
nice.
Can you get enough money together to get the Cowboys a new running back?
Oh no.
Man, we just need to get a new owner.
There it
the
is.
owner.
Elements Venue presents the Dallas Cowboys.
So wait, Manuel G,
Someday.
how'd you end up at the game on the sidelines? I saw that on your Facebook, man. I was like, this dude is a padrote, dude. Like, who are we talking to?
No, I mean, I had bought tickets just for the Cowboy game, and then I told my cousin, I'm like, hey, he's a 49er fan, so I'm like, hey, we're coming back to LAX. I found these tickets. And he's like, are you down? He's like, yeah. So I changed the flight. So when we came back, we landed in LAX and went straight to SoFi. But I mean, it cost money, but I just wanted to relax. And I mean, I've been busting my tail for a few months, so
And you've been a Cowboys
I
fan
like to-
forever.
yeah, since I was a kid. It's funny because I ran into a friend at Chase Bank today, and he played football for West High, and I graduated with a guy named Brock Marion that played for the Cowboys in the 90s and won 2 Super Bowls. So I tell my boy, I'm like, man, I've been trying to get a hold of Brock Marion. He's like, hey, I have the connect. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, I'll get a hold of him for you. And like 30 minutes later, he's like, all right, this is the guy you need to contact because Brock Marion lives in Florida now. He's retired, and hopefully he contacts me and we work something out. I just want to bring him back to Bakersfield and put some money in his pocket and let people know, like, I mean, this guy was the last guy to win Super Bowls with the Cowboys,
Yeah.
93 and 95. So
Oh, yeah.
a lot of people
man.
forget that he was on the Cowboys.
But not the last one from Bakersfield because you got Joey Porter. Don't worry.
Yeah, no.
Steelers strong,
Yeah, I'm
baby.
talking
Steelers
Cowboys, though.
Steelers, yeah.
I know, I'm teasing you.
He's in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Manuel G, this is, super fascinating. I do want to say that, on the business side, Bakersfield DJs, Adelaide, you got to admit, these guys, they take it to another level,
yeah.
Um,
And it's not just the business side of DJing. I mean, these DJs, some of the most skilled dudes I've seen
Oh, yeah.
DJ
Oh,
in
yeah.
Bakersfield.
Absolutely.
It's insane how good they are.
Well, and but the thing, so like I want to give a shout out to like because I agree with what Manuel G, what you said. DJs most of the time are DJs. You know what I mean? And it's like, and DJs that are DJs, they're good DJs, you know, or else you're not going to be a DJ. But like, I want to give a shout out to Redeemed and Wifey for what they're doing right now, where they're putting together like that. You know what I mean? Because they're doing it big, man. Like, and I know you guys all have rivalries out there, and I don't know what they are, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's rivalries. Not that I think you guys have a rivalry, but what I want to say is I like giving respect where respect is due, and always remembering that we're a team. DJs are a team. We're the only ones that know this feeling. You know what I mean? All this hate that I'm hearing about, like, oh, this dude hate on this dude, this dude hate on this dude. And I hope I wasn't like that when I was young, when I was DJing. I hope we weren't like that, Adelaide, when we were young. And
I don't think we were.
We could have been.
We struggled together, I feel like.
Yeah,
but
I know. We didn't hate on each other. I promise you that, because we were making money together. But but the thing is like, it's like, man, you guys out there, man, you have so much respect should be given. Like the stories you have are the stories of Southern California that nobody hears. Because what do we think about? Los Angeles, right? Like, that's where I grew up.
Surfing, Hollywood.
Yeah, well, just Los Angeles. It's like, I'm from Los Angeles. Where's Bakersfield? I have no idea where Bakersfield is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where last time when I came back home to LA, like this past summer, now granted, COVID, no traffic, blah, blah, blah. But I got from West Covina to Bakersfield in like an hour and a half. Met Adelaide for church. You know, we spent the whole day together. We went to his mom's house, went swimming, everything like that. And then I drove back to West Covina. And it wasn't like, oh, this is a 5-day journey. It's not that far. You know what I mean?
And 20 minutes maybe from there.
And there's so much talent in that town. That's the
really
insane part. There's so much talent.
So when I was growing up, I mean, I wasn't really close with the Baker Boys, but I was mostly close with Eric. And because Eric and I kind of were the same age, and we went to junior high together. But when I would do like house parties, I mean, these cats were walking in with their own needles, with their own backpack, with their own vinyl. And during that time when we did parties, like when we knew DJs were going to show up, guys would bring in their own turntables, and we would just let them. I mean, you already knew. You just seen the talent, and you just heard the mic, and you guys we already knew these guys are on a whole other level. There's nobody here in town that can do this. And little Nicky was so young, but I mean, you would hear them, and it was like, man, I would get nervous around them, like, oh shoot, they're in the building now. Like, okay, it's a whole other level now.
Yeah. That for me, it was J-Rock from the Beat Junkies. That was the dude I rolled with all the time. And then that's where like all the other Beat Junkies would kind of come through and want to battle. Obviously, it turned into the Beat Junkies, and they're all like friends and stuff too. But it's dude, the Baker Boys, Nick V and Eric V, just
did you ever meet Chalk, Adley?
No, I was here way too late. Chalk was from here. Well, he was from Lamont, and he blew up, and he ended up working at Power 106. I think. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay. Oh, there was
who was the
other
guy? Wasn't he friends with J-Rock though?
Probably. I mean, all those because J-Rock would do Power 106 like guest sets and stuff.
Yeah.
I think Chalk was a regular.
Was C minus. The other
C
guy was C minus.
Yes.
So I know C minus, but I didn't really know Chalk that well.
Yeah.
Just
Oscar checking in.
Oh man, Oscar's been checking in every week because he wants to be on the show. We're gonna put him on the show with Mickey Rock, dude. It's gonna be so much fun.
I can't wait. We're doing that. And then this is Baby George. He's another promoter type dude too, right? Baby George, you do a bunch of stuff, right?
What up, Baby George?
Roughnecks. Was that one of the crews? Was Roughnecks one of the crews?
I don't know. Maybe he's just talking about that song. Remember that song from back in the 80s? I need a roughneck. Gotta get a roughneck.
Dope. Hey, Manuel, and real quick, because I know we're running out of time, and I know you're a busy dude, but we do have a couple news stories we want to talk to you about, but also real quick, venue-wise, you do a lot of hip-hop concerts, and if you're watching and don't know that, please follow Elements Venue on all the social media, because last weekend you had DJ Quick, Second to None, and Joe Cooley.
And by the way, I'm trying to get Manuel G to start a TikTok channel, folks. Maybe by the end of this episode, we can trick him into it. But man, that was the one thing I wanted to ask you for real. What was it like hanging out with DJ Quick? Like, I seen that picture with you and Quick, man. What was that like?
Man, it was a blessing. That guy is such a cool cat.
Oh,
and
I figured
check
as
this
much.
out. We paid him, or I didn't pay him, DJ Flex. We were doing an event together, and DJ Reflex had paid him in full, and I never pay the artist in full, but Reflex paid this guy in full 2 years ago for a Tunes and Tacos event that we were going to do at the amphitheater on Stockdale Highway. Well, COVID hit, didn't happen. Flex would always send me texts, hey, can we do them now? I'm like, Flex, they're not opening up. The county is still shut down. It was kind of hard. First thing that when Quick came upstairs, I told him thank you.
Yeah,
He goes, it's all good, brother. I'm like, thank you for respecting the money that was paid 2 years ago.
That's cool.
And he had put on his Instagram that he was bringing some homies to Bakersfield. I didn't know it was gonna be Second to None or Joe Cooley. But
Big.
That's who he brought to Bakersfield?
yeah,
Second to
And he
none
was
to
a-
Joe Cooley.
That's dope.
and it was cool,
Very
man,
dope.
to listen to those old schoolers.
Of
and
course.
I mean, we grew up on
Yes.
Quick.
Yeah.
Man,
And
it
Joe
sounds just
Cooley. And Rodney
Rodney
and Joe
sounds-
Cooley, man. Yeah.
Quick sounds the exact same live. Like on the record or CD or whatever you get, MP3. Quick sounds the
Oh,
same
bro,
live.
I bet you he puts on an amazing show too, huh? I could
Yeah,
just
he
see
was
him.
cool.
Now let
Yeah,
me
he
tell
did
you a
a
little
really
story
cool
about
job.
DJ Quick. Just a stubborn mother with a head like a brick. Oh man, that dude is
Yeah.
amazing. Oh yeah, I
He's
seen
got
that.
great hair too, huh?
Bro, I've been
Ladies love
creeping
him.
on your Facebook all week, homeboy, because I had to put these promos together and stuff. But
Yeah.
dog, man, I'm telling you, your Facebook looks so good. It should be an Instagram, dog. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
your Facebook looks nice, son. I'm telling
Yeah,
you, man, I got a lot of respect for that Facebook.
Hey,
Yeah,
and
your
there
social
was a
media
lot of
game's
artists that I gave deposits to that have come back and fulfilled what their obligation was.
Good.
Just like I fulfilled my obligation to events that didn't happen. There were some events that couldn't happen, and some people that wanted their money back, but I mean, I was in a situation where I couldn't give money back. But I told everybody that, look, I'm good for whatever you paid me for. I can do anything for you. I'll go cater at your house. I got tables and chairs. I got a chocolate fountain. We DJ. We got
Man.
bartending service. I'll do anything to complete my obligation.
I respect
all these
it.
artists came back, and there's one more artist that I'm still bringing back, an Hispanic artist, and they're fulfilling their obligation because they
Mike
took
knows
a
who it
hit.
is.
Who is
Mike
it?
knows.
They
Mike knows
took
who
a
it
hit.
is.
Who is it?
At your next event at
Grupo-
Stramler, right?
Well, I put it out, but I got an artist that it's called Bobby Pulido. He's out of Texas.
Yeah.
But Michael
Yeah.
Salgado was here about 2 months ago. He fulfilled money that I paid him in advance. So I mean, these artists came through, and it's nice, like to be in kind of the same industry, complete your obligation, and make more friendships. Now
I
I'm gonna
respect
take
that.
I'm gonna take Michael Salgado to Vegas. So we got an event going on in July.
Nice.
Nice.
And then, so I want to. I mean, I like the venue and stuff, but I kind of want to. I want to come outside of here, and I want to do bigger things.
Expand, branch out. Mike, now here's something about me and Mike. We actually worked at the hip hop station for Art LeBeau, but the two other stations
We're
were
Spanish.
Spanish stations, and one was
Oh, really?
Tejano.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
so we got a little
Tejano,
familiar
yeah.
with some of that stuff. Yeah, we got down with that
Yeah.
stuff too. So Bobby
And then
Pulido, Michael
and my
Salgado.
my grandfather is from Mexico, but he was Japanese. And then he came up
The
into
hell?
East LA. Yeah. And he came up there used to be Japanese fishermen in Mexico.
Oh.
And so he was an illegal alien. He came up to East LA. He never spoke English, only Japanese and Spanish. And my father never spoke to me like if people were around, he didn't speak to me in Japanese. He spoke to me in Spanish. So yeah,
Wow.
and then growing up in West Covina, it's mostly Mexican people. I have a half Mexican brother, a half Mexican sister. My stepmother, she was from Hermosillo. So yeah,
Hermosillo.
yeah,
Cholo
beautiful
Japanese
women,
train.
beautiful women, and good steaks. That's
That's
the
a-
two things they're known for.
yeah, and this is DJ
Hey, so
Nocturnal.
check this. Hey,
What's
so
up,
check out this
Nocturnal?
story. When I brought Egyptian Lover. Egyptian Lover was
Oh,
the
yeah, I
last
saw that.
concert. Was the last concert I brought in, and
Before the
I
shutdown.
think before the shutdown.
Yeah.
And I think we had them like in March 14th. They had just in LA. It was big. Like, okay, the virus is out. So I called him E, and E would text me. He's like, "Hey, is the show still on?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, over here in LA, we're getting shut down." He text me and call me all the way to the day of. And I'm like, yeah, it's on. Sales are not the best, but it's on. So he shows up, and it wasn't about masks then because we still were kind of figuring it out. We didn't have masks. Basically, you had to wear, create your own mask. But that night, it was crazy, man. I looked into everybody's eyes. Even though they were here, everyone was scared to be here. Like,
I don't
the
blame
virus was out.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, this show, and that was the last show I did. They shut us down that Thursday, and then we were done for like 3 months.
Yeah.
And
But,
your heart was
he-
breaking every
Yeah.
second.
Dude,
Yeah,
But he came through. Egyptian Lover came through, took a picture with him. And
That is insane. I saw that, man. Bro, I'm telling you, you need to publish a book or something, bro, because you got mad pictures. You got like the dope stuff too, bro. Like all the stuff that, like, if you talk to your 10-year-old self and said, Manuel G, what would you like to do when you turn 50? You'd be like, I want to hang out with DJ Quick. It's like, well, don't worry, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, and a lot of these artists, like that I brought, the old school artists, it was through Danny P. Danny P had to connect.
yeah, respect
Danny
to
P's like,
Danny P
hey.
too. Yeah, Danny P.
Hey, Danny's like, hey, I can get this guy. I'm like, hey, well, shoot him through. Let's do it, Dan. And Dan, if it wasn't for Danny P, I mean, I couldn't have got Egypt. I couldn't have got
Trenier.
Trenier.
Yeah.
He had to connect with Stevie B. Then
Dude,
I
how
drove
nice
Stevie
is
back to
Danny
LA.
P also? Danny P is the
Oh, Danny
nicest
P.
person you'll ever meet. And
Yeah.
then every story he tells you is like, well, one day I was hanging out with Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters, and Andre the Giant walked in. You're like, how many celebrities have you met, dude? He was like,
Yeah.
well, you know,
That's true. Totally.
Yeah,
Danny.
Danny's
Danny's-
the man for that.
Danny's sick. Yeah, he's on the show too. So you're in good company. But yeah, man, I like it. I have a lot of respect, Manuel G, for not only the grind that you saw your dad put in, but you understanding that you don't want to throw your back out to do the new grind, but also for the vision, man. So I have respect for all of that, man. And also one thing I have respect for is that I can tell that God bless you with a heart that you understand that you are fortunate and you want to look out for those who aren't as fortunate. And that's empathy. And a lot of people don't have that nowadays. But I do respect that. Manuel G, we love this interview, but we got to get to this news, baby. So if you don't mind, Adley, what's our first story, man? Manuel, we're going to clown on whatever he's about to tell us. So go ahead.
Okay. So be ready. We're going to start it off with the first one from Sofia Vergara. Now, we all know her from her hit show, and you're thinking like, okay, well, she's always kind of the funny, goofy lady.
Wait,
in
real
the
quick.
show,
Was
Modern
there a
Family.
Japanese Cholo brand? I keep reading that comment. I'm like, is there a Japanese Cholo brand?
Trend?
Is he talking about, oh,
He's
is there a
talking
Japanese Cholo
Japanese
trend? I don't know if there is. I've never heard of their
crossover. The Asians, you
Is
see
there?
the Asian rappers with the lowriders and stuff.
We were
now.
the first two Asian DJs. That's the thing. Like me and Adelaide were the first two Asian. It wasn't a thing when we were doing it. Like we weren't cool because it's like, oh, it's the Asian guys. It's like, look, man, we're still cool, bro. We're not Long Duck Dong Asian, okay? We're Jackie Chan Asian. So y'all got to start respecting us. But anyways,
Yeah.
let's get
rock the Pelly Pel, man.
let's,
Heck
let's
yeah, we
get,
did.
let's get to the story.
Okay.
I apologize.
Sophia Vergara. We all know her from Modern Family. She's a lady in there. She's kind of funny, silly, whatever. It's a comedy show, so you expect that. Now here's the twist. She's taken her latest TV role very seriously, and she's going to be playing the cocaine godmother, Griselda Blanco, in an upcoming
Araña.
episode. Yeah, limited
You know this
series
chick,
on
dude, the Black
Netflix.
Widow, man. You
Yeah,
can't mess
yeah.
with her.
So this is going to be crazy. Now, what Michael put up the picture later, but if you look the picture up and you see Sofia Vergara playing this Griselda character, you're like, that doesn't.
It doesn't look like Sofia Vergara.
at
Oh, that's
all.
even better.
At all. So I'm just thinking, is she going to do a good job in this series, man? You know her for her funny stuff, her silly stuff, but a serious role, a cocaine drug
Cowboy.
dealer.
She's one of the cocaine cowboys, homeboy. Hold on, Manuel G. Are you into the Narcos?
Narcos and all that.
Are you into the Narcos or no? Do you like that show or no?
Man, I pushed all those shows during the pandemic, and I went all crazy on those ones.
Man, those shows are ill,
Yeah,
bro.
I
And then
watch
you
them
get
all.
into the Queen of the South afterwards.
Oh, yeah,
You start watching the
yeah.
Queen of the South, but then it gets to that one season where it's all brujeria. You're like, this seems a little satanic for me. I can't watch this show anymore. It's just, I can't do this. But anyways, let's get back to this Narcos. I'll say this. I think Sofia Vergara can pull it off because she's a comedic actress. Like I saw her in that Three Stooges movie, bro. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And then let's not lie to ourselves, fellas. Very easy on the eyes. What say you, Manuel G?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I don't watch much TV like that. I only watched it during the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
I know of her, but I don't really know of her. But I heard
Says the married
that she
man.
was gonna play this part. No.
Says the married man.
Hey,
What?
we're
There's
just
a
gonna
pretty
go
girl?
back. It's the grind. Don't give me enough time to watch TV.
Sure. I mean, I grind hard too, bro, but that's a nice looking lady. Now, of course, my wife is the most beautiful woman that ever was born. But I will say that Sofia Vergara, man, she's easy on the eyes. But I think she's a good actress. You don't think she's a good actress, Adley? What's going on here?
Oh, I think I'm excited to see her take on the serious role because we've seen Narcos and we've seen the subject matter. I mean, it's serious, dramatic stuff. Will she be able to pull it off? I think it'll be really cool to see. And I already respect her. I mean, come on, she came from what, Colombia? Where'd she come from? And didn't speak English. Was already famous there, but said, you know what? I want to be famous in the United States and America. That's where I really want to be
And
famous.
she had cancer
did.
too. She had cancer.
Oh, yes. And
Yeah,
she had cancer. She got through that too.
Yeah, and she overcame cancer. Like I have a lot of respect for her. She's not one of those people either that you see and you're like, oh, there she goes. You see her, you're like, you know what? Good for you. I hope you make more money. She's one. You know what I mean? Like there's certain people like Jake Paul. You're like, oh man, I don't want this dude to make another nickel. But when you see her, you're like, I hope money just pours out of the sky for you, young lady. And then her husband's a Steeler fan, so she's a Steeler fan.
Yeah. Herb says she's very pretty, but this is Herb's opinion.
Hey man, I ain't mad at you, Herb. You know what a pretty girl looks like.
Yeah, so we'll have to check that out. It is coming out on Netflix very soon, and the title is called Griselda.
I love Netflix.
So check for that. Yeah.
All right, what's our next one, Adley?
Okay, now I want to go into, because we're all football people here. We know about football, and we all saw it. Antonio Brown kind of snapped, walked off the field, basically got fired from the Buccaneers, took off his shirt, giving people the peace sign like I'm out. So everybody after that, you watch any news, sports, whatever, it's like Antonio Brown, he's got mental issues. There's something going on there. Now, this comes out recently. He goes on Brandon Marshall's podcast, and Brandon Marshall, also a receiver, Pro Bowl, great one, got a couple records too. And now they're talking about it, and Marshall is trying to give him advice. He says to Brown, back on the conversation on the podcast, he said, Brown, you should have simply stayed on the sideline and addressed his issue with Arians postgame, the coach, after the game. Brown didn't really agree with them, and we saw he just kind of stormed off the field. Now, when you're in a situation like that, you're making tons of money. He'll be back on. Maybe his battery died.
I don't know. You know what always amazes me? That when people fall off, they know how to get back on. Because every time I fall off, I'm like, how do you get back in here? It's a labyrinth to get into the podcast.
Oh man, I think Daniel figured out. The only thing I'm thinking is hopefully his phone didn't die. That's what I'm thinking.
But dude, how insane were those good stories from Manuel G?
Love Manuel G. Oh my gosh.
Why'd you tell me his name was Manny G, man? Come on now. I made a fool out of myself.
I'm blaming Mickey Rock on that one because when he shared the contact, I think I still have it as Manny G, and I got to change that.
That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, real quick. So let's get to this. Antonio Brown, I think, has a mental issue, and I think what happened was there's one game where he took a real bad head beating. If Sharon's watching, she can put it in the comments because she always
while
says
he was
this.
on the Steelers.
Yeah, while he's playing for the Steelers, and then after that, he just started acting wild. But here's the thing: so he can go on this podcast and say I'm fine, but that doesn't erase the fact that he'd go to the doctor. This is all on documentation. He'd go to the doctor and fart in his face. He wouldn't pay certain physical therapists. Like he tried to fist fight the movers that came to his house. It's like, okay, what's going on here, man? Are we just filming this guy at the wrong time, or?
I mean, when I'm watching the podcast, it's just kind of a preview because the full length podcast comes out in a few days, the Brandon Marshall one. So it just gives you like a minute and a half of the whole thing. But he seems like he's communicating with Brandon Marshall. They're having a conversation. He says, Brandon, look, I don't have mental issues. The coach wanted me to play, and I told him my ankle's busted. I can't play. And he said,
I understand, but here's the problem. If you aren't already crazy and you say that, then yes, I have to believe you. But if all you've been doing is acting crazy this whole time, how am I supposed to believe you? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the
Yeah.
problem. And on top of it, I'm not going to lie to you, Adelaide, this actually happened. One time, Sherilyn and I were in Homestead, and we went to a IHOP, and we had breakfast at that IHOP, and then these gentlemen got up and walked out, and the waitress said, "That's Antonio Brown, and he never leaves me a tip." And that's the truth. And I also heard that he went to the Texas Roadhouse with his pregnant girlfriend.
Got hit by Vintage Perfect of the
Oh
Bengals.
yeah, by Vontage
Okay.
Vontage Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
oops. Okay.
Yeah. And I heard that he went to the Texas Roadhouse and he hit on one of my friend's girlfriends when he had his pregnant girlfriend with him.
Oh, jeez.
Now these
Well,
are all rumors. I don't know if he didn't
yeah,
take
who
that
knows?
lady at
However-
IHOP, but I know he was at the IHOP I was at. But
I'm thinking too, and obviously Antonio Brown, stellar receiver when he was on Pittsburgh. Amazing. One of the best, no question. If you played fantasy football, you knew he was playing your number one wide receiver slot all the time. Always crushed it. But then think about this. You're that good, and then your coach tells you to get the F off the field. Get the F out of here. Just as get the F out of here.
yes, of course.
How are you gonna feel if you're him?
Sure. How
and you're
about this?
trying.
You're nuts. You're nuts. You're bananas. You are cuckoo. But when you're at the Steelers, the coach is so good that he can make you not look cuckoo.
Yeah.
Now everybody just saw your talent and not how Mike Tomlin kept that cuckoo bird inside the cage. Okay. So what happens? He's like, "Hey man, I want to leave." And it's like, "Okay, man, we can't hold you here. See you later." So he leaves the Steelers. What does he do? Goes to the Raiders for like 2
A
months.
game? Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple games, not
and
long.
then bails over to the Patriots. And while this is going on, he's like, "Oh, my helmet doesn't fit." That's when the videos come out where he's trying to fight the movie man. All this crazy stuff. Okay. Then him and Brady get to like each other at the Patriots. Doesn't play a lot at the Patriots. But when he goes down to Tampa Bay, he's like, "I get to pick any team I want because you're going to pay me through TB12. So you have a whole giant cap you can use." Okay, cool. Let's bring this dude down. All right. Now the cuckoo bird is there again, but you're not Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, that's gonna be yeah. So I don't know, and I don't know. To throw out other examples, I think was it Terrell Owens, T.O. He was really good, amazing, and all this stuff, but he kind of got crazy a little bit towards the end too.
It would suck to be that dude. It would
Yeah.
suck to have this talent that no one else has that everybody wishes they had. That would suck. That would absolutely, and it would suck even worse if you grew up in a tough situation and then all of a sudden now we're the king of the world. That would
Yeah.
suck, dude. Your brain wouldn't be able to handle it. Mine wouldn't.
Yeah,
Like-
and let me correct myself. I shouldn't say crazy if there is a real mental issue there.
Yeah,
don't wanna
I
use the word
apologize
crazy.
that I'm
sorry.
using all these
Sorry about
like
that,
silly
but,
words and stuff like that. Yeah.
But it's
Sorry.
gotta be when it's in your head though. You in your mind, you're like, "Hey, this is normal. This was a normal reaction. Me getting in a fight with the movers was a normal thing." Well, you know what I mean. You justify it in your own head.
I think there's probably entitlement that goes, "Hey, why
throw
would you
that on top of
disrespect
it.
me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How could you disrespect like that type of stuff?" I feel bad. I do think he needs mental help. I do think that we should pray for the guy instead of bag on the guy. And I think
Yeah,
that's what we do as Americans, right? Like, and I'm guilty. It's just as everybody else. You build the guy up, you think he's the best, and then all of a sudden you see his jersey at TJ Maxx, and you're like, "Man, that's a really nice jersey, man." And they only want $12 for it, but
am I gonna sport it?
I can't wear that name on my back
Am
anymore.
I gonna sort that? Yeah, I don't
You
know.
know?
I don't know. So, but we do got to shout out Brandon Marshall. I mean, it was what little bit I saw. I thought he was super cool with it, super professional with it, and really gave Antonio Brown a chance to voice his feelings. I thought that was really cool because nobody else was doing that.
No, I
Everybody
agree.
else was just putting him down. So
No, I
it was really sad on that side. So Antonio Brown, good luck with whatever happens, and your talent, obviously one of the best. So
Yeah.
hopefully,
What do we
things
got
work
next?
out. Now the next thing, and I was hoping we had Manuel for this, but maybe I'm thinking his battery died. So, but let's go jump right into it. If you guys have not seen the teaser for the Super Bowl
Oh my
halftime
gosh.
show,
I agree with you. I wish man
after the podcast, after the Chino Brothers, check it out because it is amazing. And we've talked about it here before, just kind of teasing it, months ago. Like, hey, Snoop Dogg's like, why aren't we at the Super Bowl, halftime show? Come on. It's in LA. That's
Dude,
where I'm from.
I'll
You
say
know,
this.
do this.
Adley never texts me anything ever unless it has to do with the Chino brothers. Ever. He like I feel like as long as we've
Danny
known
B.
each other. What's going on, Danny?
What's up?
I feel like as long as we've known each other, Adley has never sent me a text with like a meme or any of that. And this morning, as soon as I got to the shop, that's the first text I got was from Adley with this promo on it. And he's like, Kendrick Lamar's somewhere, you know,
I was kind of clouded
in the
on that,
middle.
but-
And then I replied back and I was like, I liked everybody but Kendrick Lamar. I mean, I'm not saying Kendrick Lamar sucks. And like the song sounded kind of dope. But bro, not against that murderer's row. I thought Ice Cube
Dude.
was involved in this too.
That's
but
what I was going to ask you about too. I felt like he was in there, but maybe something happened because you got Snoop Dogg, you got Dr. Dre, you got Mary J. Blige, you got Eminem, and then you got Kendrick Lamar. I thought Ice Cube was maybe.
Did we just think
hoping?
that? And so we made that. Yeah. So we
Like,
said that.
Ice Cube
Well,
would be complete.
here's the thing. If Ice Cube doesn't show up, if the Dog Pound doesn't show up, and if 50 Cent doesn't show up, I'll be surprised.
What about if DJ Yella shows up?
Dude, if I'd be surprised
It's not
if he
replacing
did show
Cube.
up. I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if he did show up. But you know, it'd be bananas if they did a G Unit reunion on the Super Bowl. That would be bananas, and they
Whoa.
could do it too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the thing about this halftime show is there is so many possibilities and so many things to look forward to versus every single halftime show you've ever seen your entire life. There's never been one that I'm like, I hope they do this and I hope they do that. And like I was giddy about this one. It's like, dude, I get to be a part, man. Like, I feel like I'm a part of history being able to watch
Yeah.
this show.
This is built for our generation. Like it really is, because this is the superstars of hip hop from the 90s, even late 80s, 90s, 2000s. And
Kendrick Lamar.
And Kendrick Lamar. And people love Kendrick
Hey, listen,
Lamar, which is
everybody,
good,
that guy's popular for a reason, and he doesn't. He's not as bad as the other rappers today's.
yeah.
And he's a hit star. But
Yeah.
I would be disappointed if it was only Kendrick Lamar. If that was the Super Bowl, like
Now,
that was the halftime show. Was
What if
Kendrick
Ice
Lamar.
Cube couldn't make it and The Weeknd filled in for him?
Ugh. That's not gonna happen, dude.
I'm just kidding.
The Weeknd and MGK show up.
He's like,
Yeah, about that. Dr.
bathroom
Dre
break.
couldn't make it, and Snoop Dogg couldn't make it, so we took their place. Dude, could you imagine? That'd be a riot right there in the like. Oh man.
oh yeah. The Tupac hologram.
Yeah.
That'd be
See,
cool.
that's what I'm thinking, Danny. Is I'm
Like
thinking.
Eazy-E maybe.
Yeah, Tupac hologram. They do the Easy hologram. I've seen it. Bone Thugs and Harmony did an Easy E hologram. By the way, our video where we were with Andy and he's talking about E40 getting shot at, we've gotten tons of responses saying that we need to do a story on when Bone Thugs and Harmony got shot at in Tucson. And I don't know that story, but you might.
Huh.
Anyways,
Okay,
neither here
we'll
nor
look
there.
that up. We'll look that
Getting back to what we're talking about. Yeah, dude, the idea of this halftime show is phenomenal. Just the idea of it. It's almost like, dude, that promo was sick though. You guys have got to see the promotion for this.
Oh,
There's-
and just to throw it out, it was produced by F. Gary Gray. We know him from Straight Outta Compton.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he did all that stuff. So
He-
yeah, it's dope.
I've never seen anything that looks like this in hip hop. Like it looks like I've never seen anything like this in hip hop. The way they did the piano keys on the waves for Dr.
Oh
Dre.
my gosh, dude.
Yeah, it just gave
Yeah.
you chills. And like,
Yeah.
so all that being said, this is like it's almost like a dream, dude. It's like somebody told you something. Oh yeah, this is gonna happen. And you're like, bro, that will never happen in my
Yes,
lifetime.
I feel like I remember Snoop was the first one to kind of to bring it
Yeah,
up.
back
like,
in
dude, it's
November.
LA. Whenever it was, and you're just thinking like, "Pfft, whatever, dude.
No, it was
Snoop,
way
you're high."
before November because it was when the Chino Brothers started.
So that's back
Because
in
we had
like
that
May,
episode.
June.
Yeah, we had
talked
that.
about
We
it.
actually have a short clip where we talked about what we'd like to see in the halftime show, and then we had another short clip where we talked about, oh my gosh, they're gonna do this on the halftime show, and now we're gonna have a short clip where we're talking about how excited
Amazing.
we are
Yeah.
a couple weeks away from the halftime show. I don't
it's
care who
gonna be
makes
great.
it to the Super Bowl, man.
Oh,
I
the
just want to
Rams
see this
too,
halftime
but,
show.
yeah, but the halftime show, dude, and come on, you remember Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson, like, ooh,
Let's be honest with ourselves. It's going to be Tom Brady and what's the other kid from
Aaron
the
Rodgers?
Chiefs? No, from the Chiefs.
yeah, you think the Chiefs are going to be in there, huh?
Yeah, I think it's going to be. I think it's going
Patrick
to be a
Mahomes?
repeat of last. Yeah, I think it's going to be a repeat of last year.
Interesting.
But I
Yeah,
hope
okay.
Mahomes wins this time because I can't stand Brady. I wanted to see what Manuel G thought about Brady. To be totally
I
honest
know,
with you.
dude. I wanted to talk more football talk with them.
Oh,
well, you
it
got to
would've
root
been
for the
so much
Rams
fun.
then because we are playing the Buccaneers this weekend. The
Then
Rams
I
are
gotta-
playing the Buccaneers.
Then I got to root for the Buccaneers because I want to see them in the Super Bowl. Why am I rooting for the Rams?
Oh man,
I want to
Okay.
see him get beat in the Super Bowl. There's
Yeah,
nothing like
yeah.
seeing Brady get beat in the Super Bowl, dude. There's nothing. My favorite Super Bowl wasn't even a Steelers Super Bowl. It's when the Giants beat the Patriots.
That's right.
When Strahan's last year, when the kid caught the ball on his head. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
Yeah,
that's great.
Eli gets that Super Bowl ring. I'm just like, dude,
right,
I don't
Eli
even
Manning.
I don't even care about this guy. He's Peyton Manning's younger brother, but you just beat Tom Brady, sir. You are now my second favorite quarterback. Dude, just watch. And they were about to have a perfect season too. That's what made it even funner.
Danny P, yeah, his Niners are still in there.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
shout out
That's
to
true.
the Niners too.
I mean, there's a lot left, but we'll see how this carves it up. I'll say
Yeah.
this. There's nothing better for a football fan than this time of year because you get football coming out of your eyes.
Yes. I'm excited for the playoffs and all this stuff. The last few weeks we got in that Super Bowl halftime show is going to be ridiculous, dude. There's not even a halftime show that even comes close to as cool as this show is.
Any one of those artists could do the halftime show by themselves.
Yes, agreed, 100%. Because, well, what about Kendrick Lamar?
He could, dude.
They can pull it off.
The Weeknd did
That's
it last
true,
year.
too.
Come on,
Dude, yeah, that's true.
They must have
Here's
been broke as crap last year, dude. They must have had no money last year to put the Weeknd on because every single person was like, "Who is this?" Like,
Yeah. Well, dude, here's a fact though. This is what's crazy when I researched it a little bit from last time.
The Weeknd sucks. That is a fact.
wasn't
Anyway, go ahead.
wasn't that exciting as far as as the halftime shows go? But the NFL pays you $0. They say no, we're not paying you. This is great publicity for you. You've got to pay for everything. So even the Weeknd ended up paying like $10 million out of his pocket. They're even talking about Dr.
Press
Dre.
the bag on.
Yeah, yeah. Dr. Dre's paying $10 million out of his own pocket to put all this stuff together. Granted, he's worth 800.
Yeah, exactly.
million,
I'm not
so
too worried
no
about
big
that.
deal. But
It's like you putting out 500. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
It's
exactly,
fine.
exactly. And there's remember Jay-Z and Rihanna. They were talking to them about doing it. And Jay's like, "You got to pay us," and Rihanna's like, "Yeah, we got to get paid." And no, we're not going to pay you. You're gonna do the Super Bowl halftime show. You're gonna have 10 million people watching, and you're gonna get some downloads and some more fans and stuff. So, but Dr. Dre footing the bill for this.
Here's
I
my
think it's
question
totally
for you.
worth it.
Does this mean the West Coast won?
Ooh.
Let's light that fire up.
Ooh. Now if they did another Super Bowl somewhere on the East Coast and they brought out like, well, who could they even bring out?
Busta
Maybe your
Rhymes,
G Unit, maybe
Fat
your G Unit
Joe.
type stuff. Your 50 Cent.
Busta Rhymes, Fat Joe. No, because it's got to be that era, right? So Busta
Nas.
Rhymes, Fat Joe, Nas, Jay,
yeah.
Puff, Mace,
Yeah. There's
the
some
Wu
cats,
Tang
dude.
Clan.
Oh wow.
I don't know,
yes,
bro. Never
Wu-Tang.
mind. Yeah, I'm
Fugees.
cool. I'm
There's a
cool.
lot of them, man.
I'm not getting involved in this beef.
There's
I
30
love both
that-
sides.
that'd
I
be
love
dope
both
too,
sides.
though.
I'm on the
Yeah.
east. Adelaide's on the west, and look, we get along just fine. Right,
Yeah.
Adelaide?
Absolutely. And just think if they did it in Texas, Chingo Bling.
Oh, that'd be disgusting. That'd be so dope. But here's what I'm saying. Look, me and Adelaide have no East Coast, West Coast beef. Have we ever beefed about that, Adelaide?
Not to each other.
Not to anybody.
We went to we won we won like a private listening party to P Diddy down in LA. So we took some listeners, and some listeners were also they owned a bunch of stereo shops and stuff, and they and they drank a little too much. And just they're ripping posters off. Man, we're gonna start this whole East Coast West Coast beef up, ripping P Diddy posters in half. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, dude. Are those your winners? Yeah, those are my winners. Yeah, so, but it was more funny than anything too. But,
Oh, man.
but yeah, it wasn't.
Wait,
really
Herb
bro.
said so. What do we say?
Dre is looking good. I didn't think Kendrick writing lyrics or whatever. Awesome promo though. Yes.
Yeah, that
Agreed.
promo was disgusting. I mean, like, if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. But
This is for the East Coast, or if it was in Philly, you'd have to have
Will Smith and Jazzy
and
Jeff.
Jazzy Jeff.
If
Fresh
it's in Philly,
Prince.
and then you'd also have the Roots, right?
Oh yeah, Schoolie D was Philly.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's not
But
bad.
all we got over here is what's that cat's name? Wiz Khalifa. But I mean, that dude is giant, so at least we got that.
Be fun. Did he do one? He was like an opener for one, wasn't he?
No, he did the Black and Yellow song when we went to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So that was like,
Yeah.
I mean, it became the #1 song on football. Like,
Oh,
he
yeah.
probably cashed so many checks off that song. But
Dude.
anyways, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, Dre, Snoop, Man, Mary J.
Ooh, yeah. Ice-T.
You've made all our dreams come true.
Yes.
I would also like to see Ice-T. I don't blame you.
That's a good one, too.
Cube, if you show up with 50 and there's the Tupac hologram, I don't even know if I'll be able to sleep that night. I mean,
No, I'll be
Santa
too
Claus
pumped.
bring us the presents. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Because Santa Claus is coming to town on February, whatever day that is, when the Super Bowl is played. And my goodness, we're going to be talking about this show. Dude, we're going to be talking about this show more than we're talking about our favorite show. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
whatever
I think
show
so.
you went to that you saw that was dope, you're going to be talking about this like that. Oh, my
February
gosh,
13th.
I can't wait.
February 13th.
Because you don't remember how many hits these guys have.
Dude, just those little teasers. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. That was the jam too.
I can't
so
wait. I can't wait.
gonna
All right,
be
what's
fun.
our last show, our last story, homeboy?
That's the last one right there. That's it.
That's it? All right,
Yeah,
guys.
that's a wrap, man.
Well, then you know what's up. Follow us on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Clapper. And we will see you next week. But don't worry, we got plenty of midday giveaways. Our next midday getaway is going to be with Mickey Rizzy, bro. Mickey Rock.
Nice,
The
nice,
homie.
nice.
All right, guys.
While you're closing down, I'm gonna do a couple shout outs. Big shout out to Jaime Alvarez, Lauren Gutierrez, that's Manuel's wife, Johnny, DJ Redeemed, also Alberto Arvalo. I hope I said that right. He was shouting out DJ Sparkle earlier, DJ EVP, DJ Nocturnal, Herb Mason, your homie from the shop, Baby George Escalante, Oscar from Proud Entertainment. What's up, Oscar? Mickey Rock, of course, too. And we're getting those.
Wait,
two on
Mickey
this
was here?
episode. Yeah, he popped on.
Oh,
Shout out
man.
Manuel. Yeah, shout out Manuel too. So, and of course Danny P and Sherilyn too. Don't forget Sherilyn.
Yeah, and
Just thanks for-
Sherilyn.
Thanks for
That's
dropping
it.
the likes
Yeah,
and all that stuff.
Thank
too,
you so much,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Seriously, man.
DJ
It's
Wifey was
taking
on.
off.
Thank you.
It's doing something. Adelaide thought I was crazy, but he was wrong. We're taking off, guys. All right, we'll see
Yeah.
you next time. And we God bless you all for watching. We really enjoy it, and thank you so much for listening to us. All right, see you
Thank
next time,
all.
guys.
Thank you.